Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well and keeping safe. And tonight at 8 PM this evening, UK time, I'll be launching 2 new fragrances for the Centauri perfumes line, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about them in detail, and also a little bit of a snag or a problem that I have at the moment that may or not be resolved. I'm not quite sure yet. I'll tell you the problem first, so you're aware right at the beginning. Because of England, the UK leaving the European Union, the EU, with the whole Brexit thing, basically that's caused a big problem with perfumery in the UK, in the sense that to sell legally in Europe, you have to upload your product to what they call the EU cosmetic portal. And basically when we left the EU, they blocked the UK people from accessing that. We can't access it anymore. So it means I can't upload the details of my product to the EU database, which means it's not actually legal to sell it to Europe anymore. And looking into the complications of how I can upload to that portal requires me, so far my understanding is I need an address in EU and a bank account and a limited company set up. So basically I have to set up a whole company again in a European country with a bank account, with an address, and also a contact for a responsible person that lives there with a contact number. All of that I do not have. So basically for this launch, unfortunately, I've not been able to give it to my stockists in Europe. It's a bit of a nightmare and it's depressing, but I'm sorry for everyone in Europe that's going to be disappointed by that. I'm trying to find a solution. I've just seen a message from Pedro, from my stockist in Spain, that says he might be able to help. So I need to ring him back. So we'll see how that goes, whether it will be a solution or not. Hopefully in the future that will be able to change. It's also illegal for me to ship personal use, so I can't, even if I did have that, I still can't ship to you because it's personal use, and you can only ship to EU outside of an EU country. So from the UK to the EU, that I can only do it for commercial use, essentially selling to a shop. One of my stockists can have it as commercial use, but not to an individual for personal use. So either way, you can't buy it direct from me. You would have to buy it from my stockist. But at the moment, I don't even have the stockist. So at the moment, it's UK, non-EU countries, and America, Canada. That's all good, thankfully. I'm hoping that Lucky Scent will have them for sale. I have sent them the stock out to Lucky Scent. They've only got some of the boxes that I sent so far, so they've not got the full stock in yet. Whether or not they list it at the same time as me, I'm not sure. They might wait until the full stock arrives. Keep your eye out on Lucky Scent, but if you are in America and you want to save on postage to get samples, they will have about, I think, 40 sample sets they ordered, so you can pick up a sample. They also ordered decant jars where they're going to do their own samples, so you'll be able to get, I think they do like 1 mil samples or something. So you'll be able to get samples from Lucky Scent. That will save you on the shipping if you're in America. So that's the bad news over and done with. We'll talk about the positive side, which is the perfume. And so there's 2 releases. One is called Ohm and the other one is called Anthia. Ohm will be in the red bottle in the past collection. The word Ohm represents the sound of the universe and 3 states of waking, dreaming, and deep sleep in terms of the symbolic shape of Ohm when you look at it as the shape, which is what I used on the bottle label. But in the inspiration of the fragrance, generally, yes, inspired by meditation practice, by consciousness itself, by awareness, by self-reflection inwardly, and that stillness of the mind where the monkey mind is not talking anymore and it leaves you alone for a little while. And so this fragrance is meant to be more meditative, zen kind of, reflective, peaceful, calm, deep kind of fragrance. I wanted to highlight oud in this fragrance because oud is puts me in that state personally. When you smell oud, you kind of get a zen kind of buzz in your brain, which I like. And so I wanted to highlight oud. There is a lot of oud in this. The oud in Homme is completely different to the one I used in Dendera, so it's a totally different oud. The one in Dendera was a Vietnamese oud that had kind of a dusty, dry, almost petrichor-like tone to it. The ouds in Homme are Thai ouds sourced directly from Thailand. I found a oud distiller that Pisara from actually Ducita Paris recommended me, a friend of hers in Thailand, and I purchased some samples of his different distillations, settled on two that I really like, that I thought would work for this. And so yeah, we're using a couple of Thai ouds in here. And the two profiles of oud I used, one is a little bit more fruity, more typical Thai, very, very smooth, clean, beautiful, smooth, woody, fruity, that kind of classic Thai profile that a lot of people love, that if you're not familiar with how amazing artisanal oud is, you might not even associate that as being oud because it's so pretty and like a perfume within itself. If you think of oud as funky and dirty, then you're going to be shocked when you smell these kind of Thai profiles. And so that's one of the ouds. The other oud I picked that had a slight funk. Now it's not, to me, not enough to put anyone off, I would think, because I'm not a fan of really pungent, like Hindi ouds. It's not my kind of vibe. I prefer the prettier ones. The oud that I used, the second oud, is a slight goat's hair twang, is what I call goat's hair. If you ever stroked a goat in a field and you smell your hand afterwards, or even a horse, it kind of has a animalic, hairy, dusty, it smells like a goat. I can't explain it other than it smells like goat or a horse, that kind of vibe. It has a little bit of that kind of farm goat hair twang without smelling funky or dirty. It doesn't smell dirty in my opinion, but it does have a slight animalic, furry kind of bite to it, and I wanted a little bit of a bite to go with the fruity, beautiful, smooth Thai oud. So it's a blend of these two ouds, and the concept basically is to blend oud with incense. The incense isn't, I purposely left out big quantities of thick, heavy resins, so there's no massive amounts of labdanum or those kind of heavy resins in this. I did use a little bit of Peru balsam and a couple of resins in kind of smaller quantities, but the main chunk is oud in this fragrance. There's a lot of oud. It's the biggest note in the whole formula by far, is just oud. And so highlighted with this kind of incense accord, which is built around a few things. So the main part of the incense accord is frankincense, like I say, with some slight other resins like Peru balsam. I use spikenard, which is kind of a unusual kind of smelling note. It's slightly green, herbal, woody, rooty smelling. It can slightly remind you of vetiver in a sense, in terms of the rootiness of it, but it's got this kind of green, herbal, quite unusual kind of, it's quite unique. You really have to smell it to get it because it's quite different. The tradition of spikenard, using it, goes back thousands of years. It's referenced in multiple different old texts, and it's kind of quite rooted in spirituality. So I wanted to use spikenard in this because the perfume itself, like I say, meditative, spiritual, and yeah, it was a good fit, and I felt like the profile of spikenard actually works quite well with oud. And so that kind of builds into an incense accord. There are some spicy kind of materials, but it's not a spicy fragrance. I did use a little bit of pink pepper and ginger and juniper berry in this, but small amounts, not going to knock your head off. I did use a couple of synthetics in this, but to a small degree of synthetic civet. I don't want to use the real civet because even if it says it's responsibly sourced, you're still scraping the rear end of an animal, and I can do without that. So the synthetic is a little bit more pleasant than the real thing. It's a little bit sweeter, and it's not quite as lethal as the real. So there is a little bit of civet, and I didn't use it in the sense that you'll be able to smell that strongly. It's more as I try to use it more as a blender because it can enhance other facets within the perfume when you use it in small amounts, and so that's kind of the function in this. As well as the synthetic civet, I used a very, very small amount of a synthetic deer musk recreation. So it's not real deer musk, it is a synthetic deer musk, but it's meant to mimic real deer musk. Basically, I don't like to use real animal products apart from ambergris, where that's washed up on a beach and nothing's hurt. Where an animal has to die or suffer or be in a cage, I don't want to touch that personally. And so I don't use real deer musk personally. So yeah, I used a very small amount. It's not huge, and it kind of, to me, I wanted it to blend into the ambergris tincture and just help with the musky kind of quality, which gives it an ethereal kind of nature, which lends into this kind of meditative aura. And so a very small percentage of synthetic musk, synthetic civet, but everything else is natural, essential oils, tinctures, absolutes. Hopefully, if you like and appreciate oud, you might enjoy it. For the 30ml full bottle, it is £147. I did a Google kind of exchange rate for US dollar, and it was like smack on $200 as of today's exchange rate. Basically, it's in US dollar, you're looking at $200 for the bottle. And for the sample, £6.50. I had to charge a little bit more than normal because of how expensive the perfume is by itself. With the launch of Homme, this might sound stupid to some people, but I felt like I had to do it. Basically, when I had the full jar of finished perfume, I held them in these big kind of gallon jars. I thought it would be quite nice. It's called Homme. It's inspired by meditation and the sound of Homme and the sound of the universe. And I wanted the vibration of the sound to permeate the perfume. So what I did was, when the jar was full, I unscrewed the lid, and I have a big speaker that has a metal speaker plate, and I used the speaker face down, so the speaker's going downwards, as a lid for the perfume, so that's resting as the lid on the perfume. I turned the speaker to full volume, and I played Om Mane Padme Hum, which is a Buddhist mantra. Obviously starts with Om, and Om Mane Padme Hum means essentially, it can be interpreted in slightly different wordings, but jewel in the heart of the lotus essentially is the core meaning of it. Quite a beautiful mantra, and obviously using the word Om. And so the actual sound vibration of Om, as well as the jewel in the heart of the lotus, has literally vibrated through the perfume. And I played that over a period of few days in sections of time, but basically it works out, I think, over an hour, probably about an hour and a half altogether, through different days where I just played Om Mane Padme Hum through the perfume. So the sound vibration of that bounced through the perfume. Now, that might sound totally nuts or geeky or stupid, but I felt it was important personally that the word Om literally have passed through the perfume juice itself. So although that may sound stupid to some, I felt it was important, and so you can be rest assured that when you spray it, you've got the vibration of Om that has passed through that perfume. To me, that was really important. So every batch in the future that I do of this, I can maintain this. It's not a limited edition. It will have Om played through the perfume before I bottle it. And moving on to Anthea. Anthea is the Greek goddess of gardens and flowers, and I thought this was a nice kind of continuation because this is in the white bottle in the present day collection, and obviously the first one was Gaia. Gaia is basically goddess Earth, the Earth as mother goddess, and so continuation of a goddess of flowers, you know, a specific part of the Earth, I thought was a nice kind of continuation of the opening kind of theme. And so Anthea, as like the name would suggest, is based around florals, but I also included fruits because of it being a garden. So in the garden there's fruits, there's flowers, there's wood, and it's all happening in this beautiful kind of goddess garden. To me, it does lean a little bit more feminine. I think it's very pretty, very beautiful. Not to say that a man can't wear it. I think quite a few men will probably enjoy it themselves. But I would say leaning on the feminine if some guys aren't, you know, too keen on fruits and florals together. So understandable. But, you know, personally, I would say it's unisex. Like I say, leaning a little bit the other way. So the opening of Anthea is a mix of fruits and citrus. So the opening of Anthea uses this really nice, juicy mandarin orange note essential oil paired with a yuzu aldehyde. I love yuzu, and I wanted to use the aldehyde. It gives this kind of, how do I say it? Well, I'll explain a little bit further before I go into it. I also use ginger essential oil. So there's a ginger note, there's mandarin, and there's yuzu aldehyde. The combination of this gives the ginger pairing the yuzu aldehyde, gives it this kind of sparkly, fizzy, kind of bright, fresh, fizzy kind of opening. And the yuzu aldehyde gives it this kind of musky, clean, fresh, just uplifting kind of smell, which I'm very rounded and smooth as well. But the mandarin orange gives it a juiciness. So there's a juicy, fruity opening with a little bit of fizz and sparkle because of the ginger, and I really enjoy it. I think it smells cool. And I also used a combination of apricot and a raspberry natural isolate. So it's a raspberry accord essentially built from natural isolates, and the combination of all that gives it this kind of beautiful fruity kind of vibe, which is just really quite tasty for me. The heart of the fragrance is built around a few things. There's real orris butter tincture. There is also a violet accord paired with the orris butter. There's a little bit of orris synthetic just to bulk up the orris tincture, but just a hint of that. There's quite a bit of natural Bulgarian rose absolute in here, and lotus, pink lotus absolute. So the main florals in here are the orris paired with the violet with rose and lotus. And so those are the kind of the core of the florals in the heart. Now as it dries down, I used sandalwood. There's the Indian sandalwood essential oil in here. I buy it, it's called Mysore sandalwood. I don't like to call it Mysore personally. When you look at the safety certificate, it's described as East Indian sandalwood, and so I'm just going to say it's Indian sandalwood. But its quality is thick, it's creamy, it's real genuine sandalwood. It's not synthetic sandalwood in this. And paired with that sandalwood is just a hint of Haitian vetiver, so real vetiver. Only in a smaller quantity. It's not enough to be like super uber duper masculine, but it just gives a little bit more of an earthy, rooty tone to the base paired with the creamy sandalwood. And I used a real Madagascan vanilla absolute, but there's a good dollop of vanilla absolute in here. I did pair it, or back it up, should I say, with vanillin, because vanillin is what gives you that classic vanilla sweet smell that people like. Vanilla absolute isn't particularly massively sweet. It's woody, it's balsamic, it's quite complex, but that gives it the richness, and then the vanillin paired with that helps just to give it, you know, that sweetness that people enjoy. So that's paired together under an amber accord. So there is a little bit of Peru balsam in here with a little bit of labdanum. And so the labdanum and the Peru balsam and the vanilla absolute and vanillin gives it this kind of vanilla-y ambery accord paired with the sandalwood, a hint of vetiver. There's also real ambergris in this, but it's a quality perfume. I think it smells beautiful. Hopefully you'll enjoy the transitions. Anthea will cost £118 for the 30ml full bottle and regular £5 for the 2ml sample. So hopefully you'll enjoy them. If you want to check them out, they're available at the website at 8:20 this evening UK time. Hopefully Lucky Scent will have it on their website. If not, keep an eye out on them in the next few hours or day. They might wait on for the full stock to come before they list it, I'm not sure. Those are the details. I hope you'll enjoy them. I've spent a while putting them together. It's taken me quite a while to finish these. So hopefully, you know, like I say, you'll enjoy them. Not everyone will. Personal taste is personal, and you might not have the same taste as me. So bear that in mind. Check out the samples to be safe. And I will keep you updated and let you know if anything changes in regards to being able to supply to the EU in the future. And I'm sorry that it kind of is disappointing for the launch, that if you're in the EU that you won't be able to get it straight away. But bear with me and I'll see if I can find a solution in the future. Also, just to let you know, I plan on creating more videos soon with reviews and normal kind of perfume videos again, and I'm sorry that I've been away for a little while, and also time to focus on getting these ready. But after a few days of once the launch thing has calmed down, I'll be putting regular videos again, hopefully. And just to let you know that, hope you're safe and keeping well. Thank you very much for the support. For anyone that does decide to buy a sample or a bottle, it's appreciated. And that's it. I will see you soon with some more videos. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.